once you do reconnect, we'll be in business. But good morning to everyone. There he is. We got double Blaze. We got single Blaze. Man, this shirt is on fire. Look at this.
Back again. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Hawaii Blaze today. I got my Aloha polo on today, and the vibes are. Good morning, everybody. The vibes are off today. The vibes are off.
Vibes are off. How about we do this? Can we jump into a moment of gratitude?
Yeah.
Is that a tough one?
That's good. All
right. Well, when vibes are off, it's a tough one, but I know I'm going to hit some gratitude right now. I had something earlier, but right now I'm thinking we live like directly across the street from my oldest daughter's school, soon to be my youngest daughter's school in like 2 years. So I'm very grateful that we can just step out our door and like go over there. It's a pretty unique thing, I think, for many people. And there's like a share today at like 9 o'clock. So we get to just step out and go over there so I can be here, bounce back and forth. And so I'm just grateful that we have the opportunity. So it's really
good. To me, I am just really grateful. I got to take my kids to the movies last night, and I went to the movies 2 weeks ago, and it was like $150.
Yeah.
To like get popcorn and the tickets and everything. And I was more frugal yesterday and only spent $105. But that's not, I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to take my kids to see Inside Out 2 last night, and it was a good experience.
Nice, man. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what's up with the vibes today?
So next week's the last week of school for my kids, and one of my daughter's friends, it's her last day today, and then she's going on vacation a week early. And so like my daughter's really upset about that. And so I was like trying to coach her this morning, really trying to promote some early stoicism with her, like what can you control, what can't you control. And like my 7-year-old daughter, I think that's like a hard concept to grasp. And so I'm really working on like trying to really allow her to have the feelings that she does, but also trying to like reframe her perspective. And it's just really hard because she gets up at 7:20. She has 35 minutes to get on the bus and get her stuff together. And when a thought like that strikes 5 minutes before getting on the bus, like that doesn't give us adequate time to like, okay, let's sit down and talk about our feelings. So it was like her running away from me, and I'm like, sweetie, what's wrong? She's like, I don't want to talk to you. And I'm like, but I didn't want her getting on the bus and not like being able to like express it some. So I pushed her a little bit, and I was like, no, you really need to talk about this. You can't get on the bus upset. We really need to talk about this. And she finally like blurted out why she was upset. So my own inner thoughts of, did I push her too hard in that moment? Or because I know I have to be pushed sometimes, push her okay. And then trying to be like an empathy elephant with her. And it's hard because I was never a 7-year-old girl in that circumstance.
Here, man. I'm sorry you feel that way. That's really hard to not be sure if you did the right thing, which I don't want to be like, let's jump into the book because it's exactly what it's about today. But it kind of is. The thought of not knowing if you did something right, I know that it's something that we end up feeling all the time. I think it's really hard because I think as an emotional person, just I know that you are, at least someone that's tapped in, you want to. Are you feeling rejected? I should have asked you, how are you feeling? What's it making you feel like? But I'm thinking rejection could be there. So I want to ask directly.
I don't feel rejected. I like in my ideal world, like when I get up and I get in my car and I go to work, I'm trying to like get my kids saying the mantra each morning, like I'm going to greet them with an open heart or open my heart for a great day.
Yeah.
And so that's the perspective that I want them to have going to school. Like, it's going to be a great day. You're going to see your friends. There's only 5 days of school left. You're leaving 2 days early to go on a trip with your mom. Like, there's so many great things to be thankful for. And I just like, when I was teaching behavioral health this year, it talked about like something like the negative personality traits really like take a foundation between the ages of, I think, 5 and 7. And so it's like I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but it's like neurotisms, or like, and that's like self-doubt, not believing in yourself, the seeds of anxiety and stuff like that. And I just worry that, because I used to be this way where I woke up every morning, I'd worry about what's wrong instead of focusing on like what I have to look forward to. And I just don't want my daughter to wake up every morning and be upset like my cup's half empty.
I hear you. Well, can I ask one more question about this specifically with you? Both, if you feel like there's something that you both, there's like something connecting you to, what is it you think, like if she was to step in your shoes and like you and hers, like what is it you feel like that you guys would really need to kind of like see in each other? Do you feel like she would need to see like this dad that's positive in the morning, and would you need to see something from her side? What is it that's like connecting you both in that kind of moment? I know it's a kind of weird question, but curious about that.
Like, if I was to pinpoint it today, maybe she needs to get up like 10 minutes earlier, because like the bus was pulling up and she was like, she wrote this letter to her friend that's leaving today, and she wanted a glass of chocolate milk. And I'm like, well, sweetheart, like, why didn't you ask me this like 10 or 15 minutes ago instead of doing this thing, that, or the other? Because like, I'm really like, I'm good at time management. My wife bends time around her, whereas I've probably been more around time, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And it's when you're little, when you're 7, 5, and 3, time is more regimented for you, and you don't have control over that time. Like, nothing was going to stop the bus from coming. And so I told her, like, I'll take you to school so we can talk. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I wasn't going to push her so hard that I'm like, you're not getting on that bus. We're talking. Just it's a tough morning, you know?
I hear you, man. Well, I think it's amazing that you had kept that space open for her to have that. I don't think a lot of dads would have even offered the opportunity to say, "Hey, let's take the time. Let me actually drive you, and then we can talk about it." I'll bet you, if anything, that would be something that would resonate with her in the future. If any, like, be like, "Oh yeah, my dad was someone who was definitely open, and I could have talked with him, and I just wasn't ready." I think it goes back to that kind of thing. And I know you're not asking for advice right now, but I'm giving it anyway, or at least some statement around it. But
I'm
that
here for it.
idea, but that idea of, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so
Yeah.
it's not that she doesn't want you, but I think maybe she doesn't want that teaching at the moment. And I think that when she is ready, the most amazing thing that she has on her side is you as a dad who is ready to be that teacher, where I think there are a lot of kids who don't have that parent who is open to that discussion. So props to you, man. I think it's an amazing thing. And I know that with you wanting time management to be something that's important, and, I think you both felt rushed in your own way. And that's really hard. I know for me in the morning, I wake my daughter up at 7 o'clock because I know that when she feels rushed, everything falls apart for us. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, we're up at 7, we're walking out at 8. So what happens between that hour can make or break our days. And it's really hard. So, and then throwing some kind of like really big emotion in there is a difficult thing. But I think you did a great job as a dad. There's only so much you can control, you know.
Yeah.
Look at my big coffee.
Cheers.
We're full of coffee, hearts with gratitude. We're doing a good job.
All right. So June 14th, 2024. I feel it was the past 2 days. It was like the Turner show. How are the vibes?
The vibes were good. I didn't need a co-host as much as I thought it was going to be fun. And I'm very much a spontaneous person in that way. I know that I also love I love my brothers. I love my family. I know Jason in particular. Jason, my older brother, is probably the most emotionally intelligent individual that I know, and he's incredibly patient. And he's taken a lot of things from, I think, like my dad that myself and maybe my younger brother don't have. And so when I connect with him, I'm like, I want to learn from you. So that I think is my biggest thing, and just like connecting with them, I think is fun. And then I thought a Father's Day episode would have been really cool, kind of having my own dad. But you also ended up saying something like, Ryan, I really want to push you to interview your dad. So I was like, yeah, there's like an element of that as well. So I took a little of your advice. I took a little of my passion, a little bit of my spontaneity to put it together.
Love it. That's awesome.
But we're back. The boys are back. I was waiting to see you, so I'm happy.
Awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
Are you cool if I share the stream link?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. I know Dom mentioned coming up. Dom, you're more than welcome to. I think that's going to be good. Do you want to interview? Do you want to introduce what we're talking about today?
Yeah. So today, I think it vibes a lot with like what we were just talking about. The title for today is "You Must Adjust Accordingly," and I thought it was really interesting because Ryan Holiday, he doesn't even name drop the scientist that he was talking about. Well, he's talking about Jennifer Doudna, but he's more talking about her father and doesn't even mention the father's name, which I think it's good because we're focusing on the principal this morning. And so Jennifer Doudna's father was an English professor, and he didn't realize that all the books that he was reading or giving to his daughter were in, when he was teaching, the majority of them were written by men. And then one day he had a light bulb go off where he's like, oh my gosh, like everything that I'm providing my daughter the most, and then I think it bled into him as a professor, was the majority of it was like a male perspective. And so I thought it was so interesting. He's like, yeah, I think it's great to have different perspectives, but what I took from it, if I want my daughter to be a strong woman, and she needs more of the female perspective as well, if not more of it, which he didn't launch into that might be my own belief. And so he started, I think, getting a lot more books written by women, not to just share with his daughter, but also share with his students. And I thought that was awesome.
I like it. I want to make sure I'm listening. Can you tell me the date today?
July. Oh my gosh. I might, you know what? I messed up.
No, you didn't. You didn't. No, you didn't mess up. I just want to make sure that I didn't mess up.
No. I messed up. I did July 14th. I jumped a month ahead in time. So, I'm gonna
that
go.
kind of day.
No, I'm leaving. I can't be here. This isn't my day. But
no, it is, and I want to
rewind. We're gonna rewind. Hey Ryan, what was the topic today?
The topic is how great of a dad Blaze is, number one. Number two, I want to make sure that you know, and I said this earlier, and this is such an amazing thing here because the title for today with June 14th, and July is going to be an amazing time, and I can't wait to get there with you. And we're going to get there. We're going to talk about it. So it's a great preface for it all. Keep your head up and take another swing. I mean, come on, what's going on today, right? This is where John Steinbeck was quoted here, and he was quoted as saying, "And now you don't have to be perfect, you can be good." And I really want to make sure that we know that what we're talking about today is not being perfect as a parent, because perfection is not going to be there. There's no perfect parenting, which brings me right back to that idea of how Gary Vaynerchuk wants to write a book about perfectly parented. And I think it's a mouthful of a title that is something that we obviously want to dig into. And I don't believe that he was perfectly parented. I think he was perfectly parented for him, for where he is today. So I think it's something to know. Blaze, again, what you've said is perfect for today, because you don't know what you said or did that could have been right or wrong, right? But I think that sometimes we question it. We think we didn't do something right. Did you let Dom in? Oh, there's that beautiful mohawk, by the way.
What's up, bro? Did you get a lineup?
Good morning, gents. Yeah, I did.
Oh
Yep,
man,
I did.
how'd your kids?
Got
How'd
it
your
all
wives?
cleaned up. They came down and visited yesterday. We hit the beach, or they hit the beach, and then I came and visited for about an hour and a half during work. So that was good. That was fun. And then I go home finally to see them for the weekend for Father's Day. And like I said, we got tickets to Inside Out for tomorrow.
Nice.
And then we're driving back out here for Father's Day to spend it with my dad and my wife's dad. Do the
I did
Father's
want
Day
to.
thing.
I did want to mention about Inside Out too, because I read an article today, and it's probably clickbait, but it was like, "Is Inside Out 2 okay for young girls?" And it is. Because if you guys don't know, and this isn't like a spoiler, but like at the end of Inside Out 2, they allude to this button on like the control panel that controls your emotions, and it's like the puberty button. And so, I mean, if you think about puberty and all the changes that a boy and or a girl goes through, it can be probably uncomfortable for some, but I didn't felt like it hit any of those uncomfortable topics. There was a movie that came out a couple years ago. I think it's called Turning Red. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I think
Period
that
movie.
was, yeah, much more
I
in
love that
depth.
movie.
No, Turning Red's great. I enjoyed it as well. I think that probably touched more on the uncomfortable pieces than Inside Out 2, because I think Inside Out 2 dives into more just like different emotions that come up in social structures and for teenagers. So there you go.
Yeah, all girl dads need to have those two movies on loops.
100%.
As soon as Inside Out 2 dropped their trailer, I looked at my 16-year-old. I'm like, this movie's about you. We gotta go see it.
So, but like Ryan said, I'm a very emotional person, so maybe just this all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I got.
Well, hold on. We got to call it emotionally wonderful because
Okay.
I think that just has to be there. Uh, Dom,
Yo,
are you a perfect parent?
Of course.
Perfect haircut.
I'm not a perfect anything.
I know.
If anything, like I could
Because
be considered a perfect mess of a
yeah,
human.
I know. I mean,
We all are.
for sure. Dom and I went neck and neck for a while with trivia last night, please.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if Chelsea and Rob ever. I know they jump in sometimes. I don't know if they listen to this, but I always feel bad because I love them so much. But like Josh, To the Moon, BFM sessions, I just have such a hard time staying up after getting the kids to bed and like jumping in, and I always feel bad. But just know
It's
that
so difficult.
I feel like the West Coast has a completely different vibe about the ability to hop into those and kind of take care of it, which is also a tough time. I know like Dom wasn't able to hop into trivia one time just because of dinner, because it runs right into that kind of moment. So it's really hard. But despite Dom beating me, I'm able to still be,
Dom
I think,
beat you.
second. Dom did beat me.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
I just know more. I'm sorry.
What is it?
I've seen your calendar, Ryan. You have no time to study
Oh,
French trivia.
did the knowing gnome get no-gnomed?
You know what I don't know? I don't know a lot about, well, I think the book games things throw me, but then I also know a lot about cards. But when they get so specific with the cards, like what's that score of that character? I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah.
that is. And then I lose those. And then there's a lot of things like VCon. Who was at VCon? Who did this? And I haven't been to VCon yet. This is gonna be my first VCon.
You haven't been to
And
VCon?
no, because it was always on my wife's birthday. And so I wasn't able to go. And so this year I set her up. I was like, I'm not going to be here for your birthday. How do you feel about it? And she was like, totally cool if you want to go there. And so I had already set it up and I was away and then they changed the date. So
So
that's
now
how
I
it
don't
is.
feel as bad about not meeting you at VCon.
Yeah, I was
I
never
was at
there.
by myself. You didn't meet me, so just saying.
Exactly. All right,
We have to
good.
get Bruce to this VCon
I was
somehow.
like, oh, I never met these guys in person before. Um, uh, just a side note on VFam After Dark. Rob says he has you two on his hit list. he really wants you guys in the games after dark. So one of these days, you're gonna have to make an effort to stay up late on a Thursday.
All right, I'll set it up.
Well, Blaze was in there one Thursday because he was still on the points board as of Rob's mistake, and then Rob needed to correct it, and he dropped to 21. So the top 20 were listed, and you got bumped off in the last second.
Mr. Messer is referring to after dark, not trivia or the singles games or the relation. Like there's the after dark session, the late shit where it gets
So that's
a little
scary.
bit different.
My
I
nickname.
like how Dom's saying it like we're not cool enough or something.
My nickname in college was Shitty Blaze, and I just don't know if I just don't know that persona, like you know, like unlocking that beast, you know.
Guys, I want to reset this a little bit. I love it all.
I got confused by Blaze reading. I'm like, I haven't read today, so I started reading it as he was reading it, and I'm like, this is not correct.
I know. Well, I was like,
Ryan let me monologue for 5 minutes and didn't say anything.
Blaze, what's the date today? I love that.
I wasn't sure. I thought, I wanted to give space the idea that maybe I was wrong, but I was pretty sure I wasn't. But I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to just jump in there and say I was wrong. Craig says he loves your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's. Are you still wearing your VeeDads shirt? Nice. So we don't know which shirt. I'm going to assume it's both. So Craig loves both of you. Father's Day in the US this weekend. Yes, it is Craig. Anbag was asking if anyone watched If, which we were going to. Me and my daughter were going to go watch it this weekend, but we decided to follow Blaze because apparently Blaze put it out there that we should all go see Inside Out 2. So that's going to happen. So If will be later. Please let us know a little bit more about that, Anbag, if is the best movie, if it's better or not. I would love that review.
I loved If. My wife hated it. We can have that conversation a different day as well.
Craig is not being kind to me, losing to Dom. And then, there's funny sessions all around. Yeah, Girls Dad, bring tissues. Thank you, Ann. We'll do. Why is it all about Girls Dad? Is there no movie for like an emotional guys, like Boys Dad? What's the issue there? What's going on?
No, you heard your dad the other day. It's too manly for guys to be emotional.
Well, I mean, Finding Nemo's about boy dads.
Yeah, you're right. You were really quick on that, by the way. Good job.
Oof.
I don't know if I would have caught that, but you're right. Although, yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. My wife just brought this up today, just before. She was like, I think your dad was trying to get emotional, and you didn't dive into the topic, Ryan, about something he said. And I was like, but I don't think it was the moment to do it. And so she kind of guilted me into thinking that I now need to. Well, she made me guilty in terms of not jumping into it in the moment. And I was like, but it wasn't the time. Anyway, that's neither here nor there because I know we don't have a lot of time. What's up, Blaze? Go ahead. Take it away.
I was just going to say, so the actual day for June 14th, the last line is keep your head up, step up, try again tomorrow. So I think that's a great message after my little hiccup. But if that's the worst thing that ever happens on VeeDads TV, I think we'll be okay.
I like the VeeDads TV. Is that what Daily Dads is? That's the other persona?
I'm just playing around with a bunch of different things right now.
I hear you, man. You got a Hawaiian shirt on. It's a good day.
Good day.
Let me just make sure I said there were a few things that I was looking at. You can't erase from the memories that time you lost your cool or that you said those regrettable things. Oh yeah, the one thing I want to say about this. We're not all going to be perfect, and we know this, we accept it. Number one, I have two thoughts. Number one, I hate the perfect Persian cat because I don't know whether the perfect Persian cat is perfect and an enemy to our lives right now. I like to think that it makes it more exciting for me because I like conflict. But the other side of it is I don't know if the perfect Persian cat is supposed to teach us that no one's perfect, and I don't know what wouldn't be perfect about the perfect Persian cat, by the way. So I'm unsure of how to go with that. I don't like being unsure. I like to know. The other side of it is that I guess a little more poignant on the side of I hate absolutism. I think that if you go back to Kowski's episode on VeeDads, he talked a lot about this, but then went on like an anti-racist rant, which is really good, but it like went deep and far. But the idea here is that I think being an absolutist in terms of parenting and kind of thinking that we need to say that you are that way, or I'm not perfect, or that I always mess up. I think that we have these moments that we have to be able to help each other out with, and ourselves, obviously. So inter and intrapersonally, and we can definitely say that today is not my day, instead of like it's never my day, or making sure that I can never connect with my kid. You couldn't connect with your kid today, or I lost my cool. I always lose my cool. No, you lost your cool today. You lost your cool yesterday. I get it, but it doesn't mean you can't change it again. And I think when we talk with dads, I think we just want to make sure that we know, stop thinking it defines you. It's just how you are today, and we can always change tomorrow. And I will always step up for you too if you feel that way. So I love you.
I love you. That was just a great 3 minutes right there.
Dom, can you say I love you?
Oh, I love you both. I
Okay,
love you all in the chat too.
So I'm just encouraged because I think we had a great conversation. We got a preview of July 14th, and then June 14th. Hey, it's okay whether you're like, and we talk a lot about trying not to yell at our kids, and so I think that's great to say, like, hey, if you lose your cool, it's not the end of the world. Try and be better. But I also like want to say that, like, it doesn't mean, all right, I can yell at my kids 2 days out of the week and the other 5 days, like, not yell at them as well, if that makes sense.
So the only thing that I would like add to that is like the whole like today versus tomorrow. What I've been trying to do, because I find myself a lot of the times kind of thinking, oh shoot, I messed up today, and then it'll kind of like spin me out and like ruin almost the day.
Yeah.
So now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to like just be in that moment and just be like, look, I fucked up that moment, take a breath, go outside, separate myself from the situation, and then just come back in a different way, like almost like erase it right away, and then try to make the rest of the day better and overshadow the little moment, so you're not like, what I'm trying to say is like not judging just the whole day, right? Just like that was just a moment in a day. Like you had an episode, your kids had an episode, you responded less than kind, and you just turn it around. Hopefully it's early enough in the day, but if it's not, like, because I've had some episodes at night at bedtime, that's a you're at the end of your energy level at bedtime, and sometimes you lose your cool. Take a deep breath, go back into the room, apologize, say I love you, good night, all that stuff, and hope that they're good, and usually they are the next day.
I love what you just said, because I think it's the most important thing. Someone said it to me. I don't know if it was like a relationship counselor or whoever it was, but they said the biggest problem isn't so much about the action that you just took, that maybe you yelled at them, or that you lost your cool in some kind of way, or something you just said that was like completely off. The bigger issue is not letting your kids understand why you said it and how you're going to fix it. So I think that if we end up showing up to the moment after, I think with a cool head, which I think is hard. And Dom, I'd love to ask you the question. I know we're kind of short on time here, but the idea of how we re-enter that moment and what we do, I think moving forward is so important. I was reminded by someone recently, and they said, you know what I do? I have a job, but I go through these motions. And I think even Craig said this at one point too. He's like, before I enter my home after that stressful day of work, I will, pretend to just hang up my problems outside. And then I'll enter my home and I'll leave them out there, which I think is great. I have a hard time doing that. I carry those things with me because I'm like, but I want to keep fixing it in my head as like the night goes on. But it's a good reminder. And I'd love to understand how you, as a great dad, you do that. So thanks for bringing that point up.
I have to dip out, but I love everything that you just said, especially like I love that mental picture of like you can take your problems off your shoulders, hang it up outside, and then almost put on the sweater of fatherhood, put on a sweater of love, and walk in the house and try and let that be your being for those next couple of hours before your kids go to bed.
100%. Dom, you want to sign us off?
Oh no.
Got it.
I don't ever want it to end. I have a problem with these things ending.
Oh man, he's so sweet, isn't he?
I got it. May your cups stay filled with Celsius and your hearts with gratitude. See, I'm inclusive. Dom is drinking Celsius right now.
Thank you,
I didn't
sir.
want him to think, oh, that would be a great sponsorship. Celsius, I love you. Think about it. But again, and for those that drink coffee, may your mugs stay filled with coffee and your hearts of gratitude.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
Good day, gents.
Bye.
Yep, you too. Bye.